So we've got plot details, story revealed, and now it makes a lot more sense as to how the writers got themselves into a state of twisting this to be a female-led movie and a period piece. The jokes write themselves about that when it comes to Blade, but it is supposed to be a period piece. More ways than one. So here we have it basically. Well, this thing's a joke anyway. So it's been a joke for ages. I've covered this so many times. But the new details, right? Apparently, it's still a period piece. Still very much rated R. The story is going to be focusing on Lilith, played by Mia Goth, attempting to get a hold of some blood from Blade's daughter so she can make her own army of Daywalkers. And then Lilith will also wield the Ebony Blade. Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, won't be in it. That's the story. Few things I want to cover before I get your thoughts. This is typical Marvel shit because she will undoubtedly get some of her army made. You can see it now. And what will happen in the third act is going to be cannon fodder, Daywalker army that Blade comes in and saves the day. This is standard across the board in every single Marvel movie. They always have cannon fodder. It's always weak. It's always pathetic. It's always shit. Literally every single Marvel movie, they do the same thing. So that will happen. Trying to get blood from Blade's daughter? Why is she even in this? Like, does she get killed, maybe? Probably not. So this is a passing of the torch movie eventually as well. I mean, it says it does to what? Look, I'm just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying what I can see with it. What do you think? Go on,
interest
Chris.
level dropping. Interest level dropping. You know, Marvel had a Blade's Daughter comic book that they announced 3 or 4 years ago. They had put out an advertisement for it, and it was, you know, the shaved side of the head girl boss,
God.
Black girl with her sword or whatever, and then they scrapped it. They pulled the comic. They never released it. So this Blade's Daughter story has kind of been in the works for a while. They've been trying to push it. I don't know why. I don't know who. But they're the same people that I guess think Madam Web is a great idea for a movie. I don't know who these people are, but sounds awful. And, you know, the lead actor, I think he was ready to walk off this movie because of the script.
He's a good actor. Mahershala Ali is a good actor.
Yes, he's great.
Won
so several Oscars. To leave.
Not that's a marker for quality, but he's a very good actor. And the only reason this is still moving forwards is because he's stayed on it and tried to got his writer on it, basically, got his writer on board.
And it didn't fix it.
It's Morbius too. I could feel it. Yeah.
It didn't fix the problem. This is the 5th writer, everybody. This is the 5th writer they've gone through. This is the 5th version of the script. This is garbage.
See, and I didn't know about that comic being canceled 4 years ago because I'm trying to put a time frame on this. Because just before Mahershala Ali Farvara was announced to play
Mahershala. Come on.
I can say whatever I want. Ever since just before he was announced, I was my buddy who's a writer who I ghostwrite with back in the day and help script doctor stuff with him sometimes before I started doing Midnight's Edge. He was actually going to be part of Wesley's writing team if Wesley would have been on the movie. Then they were even talking about a Blade's Daughter situation. But the point of contention came in because Wesley wanted to play Blade again, and they wanted him to play a Whistler role instead. Now, I don't know if they meant that as actually playing Whistler or like literally just showing up, handing the torch off to his daughter and leaving. But basically what it came to like a stalemate and they walked. Like basically Wesley's like, F this, I'm out. So at that point, my friend said, yep, he's gone. And the very next day, is when they announced Mahershala Ali at the thing. So I don't know if, again, does that mean that they already planned on him playing Blade, and they literally had Wesley in this a role? But I'm also wondering if they didn't cancel that comic because maybe they had things that were attached to that were setting up the movie, and or maybe Wesley Snipes' likeness was in there, and then when things went sour, he's like, well, you're gonna have to take me out of that comic now or whatever.
Oh.
Like,
well, no, this was back in 2015. The comic was
before
canceled in 2015.
Okay. But yeah, so I knew this was a story they were throwing about, and that's what he had said then at the time, was that it was supposed to be a passing of the torch down to the daughter of Blade. And so and that they wanted him to be in a Whistler role, and I didn't know if that just meant in a mentor role or as in just, you know, playing the actual character Whistler. So yeah.
Go on, Nick, are you back now?
Yeah, it totally sounds like a move they would do. Pass it down to the daughter. Add another powerful woman to the other powerful women of the MCU.
It's the MCU. Get it right. Oh, and I have to correct myself. This is the 6th script. Anyway, sorry. I'm not upset at all.
It's just crap, isn't it? Like, you can see, with this as the focus, female villain, daughter, trying to get blood, narrative, all that kind of stuff. You can see how it became a vehicle to tell a story about women's issues or whatever it was that was, reported in Variety.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All kinds of women's issues, apparently.
I was going to say, they're going to turn it into have to do something with periods since blood's involved.
Adolescent female angst, monster stabbery, and menstrual cycles.
But it'll happen. I shit you not. Watch. What'll happen is when she'll start to vamp out when she gets her first period or whatever, and that'll begin the cycle of whatever. Yeah. Before that, she didn't know she was a vampire.
Begin the cycle.
Yeah.
This thing seems to have been in like pre-production hell since it got announced. Is this ever actually going to happen and get made?
Honestly, I think it's getting less and less likely as we go on, or at least what's going to happen is this version is going to be put to bed.
It's supposed to release November 7th, 2025. That is not releasing.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's when they pushed it back. That's their delayed date at the moment.
Yeah.
Until I see leaked set shots and they're actually filming.
Exactly. Kind of like we have with Deadpool. Exactly. Nick.
Stop trying to make this movie.
Yeah.
It's not your concept, your fundamental concept here does not work because nobody can crack it. Walk away.
Yeah. It was a bad idea. I
mean, there's a lot of bad ideas. They all come from Kevin Feige and his, DIE brain. But stop trying to make this movie. Wesley Snipes is Blade. That's it.
Yep.
Well, and that's where I think the audience would be just as fine if they did a dusting off of Wesley Snipes because he looks pretty good for his age.
Yeah,
right?
I would be on board if they brought him back.
And
they're going to pass the torch. That's the best way to do it. Just bring him back.
They don't even think they need to pass the torch. You could get another 2 or 3 movies out of Wesley Snipes, I think.
No, I'm saying if their plan is just to pass the torch, then why not just bring him back anyway?
Right.
But honestly, I mean, and he needs the money just to set aside for future taxes.
Yeah,
sure. They brought Tom Cruise back for Top Gun 2. You could have Blade's daughter doing her thing or whatever, and then she realizes that Wesley Snipes is her father, and he shows up to help her because of whatever this situation is, trying to make daywalkers. I mean, it works as a concept, I guess, as sort of an Army of Darkness 3 or a comic book, but I don't think it's a blockbuster movie. This is not going to be a big hit.
Honestly, I say keep the daughter out of it. Here's my plot. Keep it separate from the other Marvel films. What you have is that Blade successfully pretty much eradicated all the vampires like 20 years ago. So for the last 20 years, he's been just kind of chilling out in the woods, doing his Blade thing or wherever, chilling out in the city, whatever. And then all of a sudden vampires start showing up again. So you need Blade. That's all you do. Yeah. And you have a new source of vampires. They're a little bit more powerful or something than they were before. Maybe a mixed breed like the ones in part 2 or whatever, something like that, to where you just have to have him dust off the sword and say, all right, let's go. You know, like,
Almost like the Dark Knight Returns story with the older, gristled, more
kinda, yeah.
Batman. The only thing that would make this story better for them on what they're reporting here is if they turn the Daywalkers into Gay Walkers, that would actually make it a lot better. Just saying.
Why?
Terrible.
You couldn't do that because you'd have a black guy killing a bunch of gay people.
Right, well,
true.
Oh, we're
we've
going
got
down.
a comment from Gary here for £5. Says Jamal Afari was a black man and Blade's mentor in the comics. Whistler was made for the movie, so Snipes probably would have been
That makes
Jamal.
sense, Gary. Yeah, that makes sense. But he just wasn't game for that. He wanted to play Blade. That was his whole thing. He's
Got an
like,
ego.
I'm Blade or nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, and he does. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, big.
He stays
big
in
ego.
great shape.
But he's Wesley fucking Snipes, so I think he's kind of earned that. a little
Sure.
bit.
I mean, this guy, he is action hero. First of all, where did he go? How come there is not more Wesley Snipes in
I
our
haven't
world?
seen him in anything in a minute.
Because he's kind of difficult to work with.
like
Exactly. Yeah.
He's doing his own comic book. I'm not kidding. He just
No, he
crowdfunded
is.
a massive comic book.
Yeah, he did.
But he was great in that Dolomite movie a couple years back.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah,
if
he
he's done
was.
since then,
That
but he's
was
done
a
a
good
couple
one.
things I know.
3
but-
years ago. Oh.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
done a couple things
But-
since. But
Let's